All right, guys, so I have something to confess. Something that happened about 6-7 months ago. And to be honest, I'm pretty happy about it. We got some new irons. Let me give you guys kind of a walk down how we customize these clubs to work for me, the reason for all the switch up and all these changes. So with no further ado, let's get right into the video. Let's get this out of the way. I know you guys are probably thinking like, holy crap, Carlos, you've already switched. If you guys have been following me for a while, I didn't even really cover these irons. I originally started golfing about 3.5 years ago with the Callaway Edge set from Costco. Then I switched to the Mizuno JPX Hot Metal Pros, which I really struggled getting the launch up. I just really struggled with those clubs. So then I switched to the Mizuno Pro 243s. And now we have the Mizuno Pro 245s. So to just give you guys some context of kind of this crazy 3.5 years, 4 different sets of irons where this goes. So let's start from the get-go. Started golfing, wanted a cheap set, got into it during COVID, so went with the Callaway Edge set. Quickly realized, the top of the bag, as far as like 3 woods, driver, wasn't really gonna do. So switched those, got a new driver, and then I got a few hybrids, and I was just kind of in a weird spot. My swing speeds, I was practicing a ton. It was a point in my life where I could dedicate a lot of my time, and I was super excited about it. So I was putting a lot of time into golf and spent a lot of time working on my swing speed and all these different things, and quickly realized that where my game was going was not going to work with the Callaway Edge set, especially because I was using a regular flex shaft and I was starting to get into the 90 swing speed and was realizing like, yeah, I'm gonna outgrow this set of clubs pretty quick. That was the first switch. I decided to invest in my game, and I went and got fit for the Mizuno JPX Hot Metal Pros. They did good for a little bit. They did good for about 4 months, and I was excited, and they were cool, but they just ended up kind of not working. My game, as I was tweaking my swing and getting those kinks out, I got into a spot where I just could not launch those clubs. I could, like, literally every shot wasn't even like a mid shot. It was like everything was low. So everything was coming out super hot, rolling. I couldn't get anything to stop, and just came to a realization like, yeah, this isn't going to work with this setup. So from there, I switched, and I believe those were in a stiff flex. And so then I went back to the same place, because you went to golf, they allow you to do fittings, and they give you 90 days to check the clubs out, see if you like them, and then you can switch if you don't. So right around my 90 days, I was like, yeah, this isn't gonna work out. So I go back in, and the new Mizuno Pro line, the new 2.4 line comes out for 2024. I go back in, go to a different fitter at a different location, and they fit me into the Mizuno Pro 243s. And when I say a fitting, it's you into golf. It's literally just like a walk-in. There's no appointments to set. So the fittings isn't like a legit hour long. They're looking at your swing specs and really getting you dialed in. It's more of just a feel, hit shots on the GC quad, see where it's at, see what you like and how you're swinging that day. So it's a very small sample size as far as your swings, but so be it. It is what it is. And so I then switched to the Mizuno Pro 243s. They were solid. And at that point in time, it was perfect for my game. I was playing a ton and really getting a ton out of my game and making a lot of progress. So it was exciting. And I really thought those were going to be the clubs for me. I really liked the 243s. At the point, my swing speed was really strong. I believe I even got to the point where I was fit extra stiff for those in the Mizuno Pro 243s. And they were awesome. And then personal life happened. My daughter had a bunch of health complications when she was born. And so it came right around that same time. It was about the 2-3 month mark, that 90 days that they give you. And I realized like, man, I'm not even golfing once a week. Like even in the garage simulator, like I was putting in almost no time, just not being able to golf. Her health complications got in the way and just needing to be there for my family. And I realized like, oh man, I don't know how much golf I'm actually going to be doing on a weekly basis or a day-to-day basis. I need a more forgiving club, which is what got me to the Mizuno Pro 245s. So I'm going to walk you through some of my specs, where I'm at as far as, what shaft, grip, how we customize the head to fit my game. So let's roll through it. I'm gonna kind of give you guys some specs and a full breakdown of my set and what I did. So let's get into it. So for some context, for you guys that don't know, in the Mizuno Pro line, there is 3 clubs. You have the Mizuno Pro 241, you have the 243, and the 245. 241 being the least forgiving. Those are your blades, little butter knives. They are only for the top tier golfers, your single handicap scratch golfers. I'm not touching those. The 243s are solid. I really like them. It's a pretty small profile. It's a pretty small club head, but where I was at in my game at the time, I could hit them, and I was hitting them well, and I was hitting them consistent because I was playing, 2-3 times a week and putting a lot of practice in. So I was at a really good spot and was making the most out of them. So the 245s, they still aren't, your game improvement irons. They're more of a player iron. They sit in between, a really good player can still play these, but if you're a mid handicap, it's a good place. You can test them out and see if they work for you. They're similar to what are they called? Similar to a P790. It's a very popular iron. It fits for a lot of people. So, you're going to see a lot of people fitting into the Mizuno Pro 245s. They're just a really amazing club. They feel really good. They have enough forgiveness, but they have enough workability as well. It's not just one of those clubs where you can't work or shape your shots. They're all around just a phenomenal club. I see a lot of people that are in that mid to low handicaps being able to hit these clubs and really enjoy them and like what they have to offer. Let's jump into my specs and how I spec'd out these clubs. So let's start from the bottom. I went with a pitching wedge through to a 5 iron. I like where it's at. I have a 4 hybrid I really like, so I didn't do the 4 hybrid. So I went pitching wedge through 5 iron. So that's 6 clubs. They're solid. I was hitting them there, and I was absolutely hitting bombs. Reason being is because the 245s, naturally, they're really strong. They have them tipped down, and they are way too strong for me. For my swing speeds, I'm swinging irons about 95 on average on a smooth swing. They were just launching way too far. I was hitting my 7 iron, when I was fitting for them, 220 yards. And I was like, okay, that's way too much. 220, 230 for a 7 iron, way too much. So the first thing I did is I ordered the clubs, and I asked them hey, when we get these in, first thing I need to do is I need to get these weakened. I need to put some loft on these and, get more height and being able to have some stopping power because it was just launching way too low and rolling out. So that's the first thing we did. I have what my current clubs are set to. In my pitching wedge, I have 47 degrees, 9 iron 42, 8 iron 38, 7 iron 34 degrees, 6 iron 30 degrees, 5 iron 27. So basically we set them to pretty traditional irons and gapped them with my wedges, not really worrying about the top of my bag because I haven't even been pulling out driver 5 wood or even my hybrids right now. For some reason I've been so dialed with my irons that I just feel comfortable playing them off the tees, working around the courses with these irons. I absolutely love them. So yeah, they're really strong. Maybe I'll throw them up right now of what they normally are set to. If you were to just buy a set, they are way too strong for me. For some people that have slower swing speeds, this can be a great help. And these clubs can still get up, but I was hitting them too hot and it was just launching way too hot. So this has given me just a beautiful mix of forgiveness for a couple miss hits and stuff. Obviously if you hit really, really bad shots, there's no club that's going to save you. So that's not the expectation, but to have just that forgiveness and workability, I've gotten to the point where I've been able to shape my shots and play certain shots. So to be able to have the workability with the forgiveness for those little miss hits that do sneak into my bag. I only play a round a week and usually it's only 9 holes. And if I practice, it's maybe once or twice a week. So not a ton of practice, not a lot of out on the course. So to be able to have forgiveness, but the workability all in one package has been phenomenal. And not just the way they play, but the way they look. They are absolutely a beautiful club. Here's just kind of give you some visuals. Just want to show you guys how good these clubs look. With the badging, the only difference between the 241s and the 245s is the way they have these badged. So like on here, these ones have a 245 and they have like some different placement, but these almost look like the Blade 241s. So people will look at your clubs and be like, man, you're playing some Blades. They almost look like Blades, but they're a hollow body, you know, foam injected hollow body iron, and they look super good. You know, sometimes a hollow body iron can give the identity out really quick, like, oh yeah, those look like a hollow body. The top line on these, pretty thin. Let me give you guys a look down the top line. You can see that's pretty thin here. They're not super thick. The offset, not crazy. So they look really good. I love the way these irons look, and they look basically like that through the whole set. Here's my 7-iron. Pitching wedge looks the same way. So they look really good. I thought the 243s looked all right, but they kind of have that big cavity in the back. I think these look better. As far as my shaft goes, I have the Dynamic Gold 105 S300. So we are in a stiff flex now, which I think it's good. I think I was swinging really hard with the 243s, which was good at the time because I had the accuracy in the practice. But now I've taken some of that, you know, power off, the 100% all the time swing, and I'm going more of like an 85% swing is what I try to envision and try to hit on the course, which I think pairs well with the stiff flex. I already gave you guys what I had these week into, but overall they're phenomenal. And last thing, you got to talk about the grip as well. So on all of them, from my wedges all the way through to my woods, I have the Golf Pride MCC Plus 4 mid-size grip. Mid-size, not the standard or regular grip. I like the slightly thicker grip in hand. I'm not going, you know, Bryson DeChambeau jumbo grips on all my clubs, but I struggle with cramping in my hands. So if I play with too small of a grip for too long, I will start to get cramps in my fingers and in that, like the big meaty part of my thumb. Having just a little bit more surface area, or I guess more hand feel, and it fill out my hands a bit more, it eliminates the cramps. Gives me more feel. I feel like I can control the club face and, you know, face angle at impact a little bit better. So it helps me line things up a bit better as well. So this is a package that I'm happy to say there's no intention and no plan to return these anytime soon. I see myself having these clubs for the foreseeable future and hopefully for a few years. Like, I think I'm going to be able to put some work in with these. So super happy. Hope this helps maybe anybody that has been thinking about purchasing a set of irons or is in a similar spot. You know, you're sitting in a mid-handicap looking for a set of irons that has some forgiveness and workability. You know, in 2024, I think these set the bar very high. They're a high quality iron. If you've ever hit Mizunos, you know that feel. When you hit a square of the face, it's butter. Like, you don't even feel like you're hitting the ball sometimes because it just feels so good hitting these irons. So I can't say enough. I would give them a smooth 10 out of 10. I'm trying to think of something I don't like about them, and I can't think of one. From the 4 set of irons, I think this checks all the boxes for me, and I've really enjoyed playing with these irons over the last 6-7 months. Like, they are phenomenal. So hope this video helps, give you an insight into my bag. Got to give you guys a full rundown soon. It's been a while, and we're getting back into it. We're finally making videos again now that life has calmed down a bit. But I really do appreciate you guys. Thank you guys so much for joining this video and watching all the way through. If you guys like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, leave any comments if you have any videos that you would like to see me make, or if there's something about the clubs that I didn't cover that you might want me to touch up on. I answer all my comments, and I really do appreciate you guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Peace.